Dragon Danny, Fushwan, Losha, and Bronya. What do all of these characters have in common? That's right, they're all dog shit in their own ways. So if the math is mathing, then that means Sparkle is going to be dog shit in her own way as well. So that's what we're here to talk about today. All of the major flaws that I see Sparkle having, and also some reasons on why you as a free-to-play player might want to skip on her altogether, because I guarantee you there's already a better buffer in the game right now, that being Ruan Mei. She's not going to compare to her, I'll just let you know that right now. Saying that's like the Genshin fans saying Wuthering Waves is not better than Genshin Impact. I mean, come on now. It's really an impossible fact to refute. So let's go ahead and hop into every negative with Sparkle. Starting first with my most baseless and feels crafty opinions on her in general, so you guys can flame me in the comment sections down for that. First, I don't think she's gonna work as well with Seele as everyone thinks. I know she is a quantum fiend, I know that she helps quantum characters a lot, but Seele is a weird story, and the reason why Seele is a weird story is because every time you use Seele's skill, you're increasing her own speed, and with Sparkle only able to advance your forward action by 50%, let's say, right? That's not necessarily gonna bring Seele back up to the front every time. It's maybe wouldn't bring your Seele back up to the front at any time, because what you're going to need to do is speed tune your Sparkle correctly to actually bring a character back up to the front in the correct action and value order, because it's not a 100% thing like Bronya does. So with a character like Seele, there's just too many variables to take into account here. So what if Seele goes directly before your Sparkle does? You use a skill point and don't even get to use her immediately, right? I'm not saying that it's not bad, because you're still advancing forward action quite a bit. So if 50% of that action value doesn't actually bring them immediately to the front, then you're just kind of stuck with I guess a crit damage buff and not getting extra cycles. Now I will say I think this character is really good for like probably zero cycling and stuff like that, because you basically have to get everything done within that one cycle. I think when you get later on into fights, it can actually become more of a hindrance because of the fact that you have debuffs that get on your allies as well, right? And I'm not going to talk about the CC debuffs. I'm just talking right now about speed reduction debuffs, because she is already going to have to be very finely speed tuned to work with any of your DPS. And if they're giving themselves speed, sure, you can account for that in your speed tuning, but then you have to account in for enemies debuffing you with speed debuffs and stuff like that as well. So the speed tuning realistically is going to be all out of whack there. I feel like it's going to be very hard to put her on a team that uses very heavily into like fast DPS characters. They give themselves speed and stuff like that. But this kind of leads us into the second and less feels crafty point now, that she's a racist and a bigot. She sucks, doesn't she? She is, oh my god, we cannot be supporting a racist and a bigot in the game. This is also another big reason why you shouldn't summon, obviously. But jokes aside with that, the actual reason number 2 now is the comparison to Bronya. Realistically, Bronya and Sparkle are very, very similar. I feel like Sparkle is a side load to Bronya, and this is why I talked about the debuffs previously. If any of your allies are frozen, debuffed, or CC'd, Sparkle cannot remove that debuff. Bronya can, and on top of that, brings them back up into the action order immediately. Say your allies are like frozen or imaginary debuffed, right? And you bring them back up to the front with Sparkle. That's automatically their turn. So you wasted a skill point, you wasted your turn, which means you have to use skill points with your sustain character to make sure or ensure that debuffs are not going on these allies, especially the CC ones, correct? And where this comes into another issue, while Sparkle is probably the most SP positive person in the game because she gives so many skill points back with her ultimate move, that being 4, if you're having to use skill points with every single character on your team, you're still going to run out of skill points. She doesn't fix the skill point issue altogether, right? She might give you 7 cap and 4 extra when she ults, but it does take her at least 3 turns to ult, and potentially 2 turns if you run her with like energy regen rope, Vonoak, Pinacone, and also mesh and cogs like cone and she's getting hit. Potentially a 2-turn ult there, but most of the time it's going to be a 3-turn ult. And if you're having to use everyone on the team's ability every single turn, that is a hella SP negative. 4 SP gives you enough for 1 cycle rotation for every single character, right? So what do you do when you get to that next cycle? Your character's frozen now, and you're just kind of left out to dry. As much as I hate Bronya, one thing that she does good is be able to get herself back up to the front whenever you cannot use her skill, because whenever you basic attack with Bronya, she advances her own action forward. Sparkle will not do that, meaning Sparkle is going to be less consistent in the lineup than someone like Bronya would be. Now, Bronya obviously is super SP negative and doesn't play well with characters that use a lot of SP, aka Dragon Danny, aka QQ, aka Seele, right? Well, she works well with Seele, but as far as like characters that use a lot of skill points though, right? This is why I feel like Sparkle is a side load to Bronya. Sparkle is just there to alleviate any skill point deficiencies or help mend skill point deficiencies you have in crit damage based teams. She is not really going to help out your dot team. She's not really going to help out a break team. She is literally only there for a hyper carry team, whereas Bronya gives a damage boost on skill, whereas Sparkle gives the crit damage buff on skill, which doesn't really help the break teams out too much. What Bronya can do is actually increase their damage, which inherently increases their dot, meaning Bronya is technically more versatile than Sparkle would be. And I know you might say, well, the skill point can apply to every team. I agree the skill point can apply to every team, but what's the point of getting these extra skill points on the team, just having extra skill points? Damage bonus there is decent, and you can't really run any, I mean, you could run a break comp with maybe Jue. I think that could probably play well, but overall, I do think that Bronya is going to be more versatile than Sparkle would be. I know, very hot take of the video. I do think that is the case though. And that's not to say that Sparkle's not an S tier character still, because I do think that Sparkle's still going to be an S tier character. We're going to have my tier list coming out in a couple days from now, so check that out if you want to, and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these points so far. And finally, let's go ahead and talk about what the future holds, right? Guys, there are going to be better Harmony units coming to the game. There's already a better Harmony unit. Ruan Mei just kind of rules. She can be ran on any team you want. Not to say Bronya can't, not to say Sparkle can't. Ruan Mei, though, can just be ran very efficiently on every single team, whereas I don't think that's the case with Sparkle, so you probably could wait to get a better Harmony unit, or even Ruan Mei to get a rerun. I think Ruan Mei is the best support in the game, and I don't think this could be power crept for a while, if I'm being completely honest with you. Now, as far as other characters coming to the game, I think these other characters coming to the game can actually offer you more value to your account, aka Acheron, aka Adventurine. Adventurine, I think, will add a new vertical and kind of step more away from that hyper carry scenario, right? I don't like hyper carry, and I'm not shitting on hyper carry or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't think that hyper carry is the main focus we should be focusing on accounts anymore, just because of the fact we have modes like Pure Fiction now, which is a more AoE oriented mode. We have bosses in the game now, like the new meme boss, that if you're using a hyper carry or solo DPS, you kind of have to work around them getting their souls absolutely snatched. They're getting snatched harder than the bots on Nvidia's Twitch channel when he doesn't stream Genshin Impact, okay? They're getting snatched hard as hell. So I think having more versatile options is going to be really beneficial for your account, right? Someone like Acheron, right? Acheron, we can't speak on what she does, but come on, guys, if you log on to Twitter, I'm sure you have seen what she can do. This brings a new vertical to the game, and Adventurine as well. I mean, you've probably seen what Adventurine maybe can do on Twitter as well. And that's just going to unlock more versatility within comps with Topaz and stuff like that. So this is why I'm saying we should probably just hold off on Sparkle. I don't think she's the best. I don't think she's a must summon for. I don't think you should summon for if you're a free-to-play player and you fall under one of these scenarios. If you already have Bronya and Ruan Mei, or you already have Bronya, I really don't think it's as efficient for you to pull for this character and just wait for new characters coming to the game. But on the contrary to that, pull for who you want to pull for at the end of the day. If you like Sparkle's characters, I'm pulling for her on my free-to-play account because I'm going to be using her with a QQ, a quantum team with QQ, right? And I think she's going to work really well in that scenario. So that's why I'm pulling for on my alt account. I'm not pulling for on my main account. I have Bronya, I have Ruan Mei. I don't even use my Bronya because I don't like Bronya. I think Bronya is one of the most clunkiest characters in the game. I do not like Bronya, so I don't even use her. I only use really Ruan Mei on my team, and sometimes I'll use an Asta or a Pela or something like that. I don't like Bronya. I don't really like Sparkle's kit too much either, whereas I think I can bring a lot to your account. I just don't think it's the end-all be-all. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it. Subscribe if you hate me, and bye. Later, Genshitters.